Which one do we look at?
Right there.
Oh.
Okay, ready? Welcome back to Dad Bod Basics. As you can see, we have a special guest here today. This is my son, Joey. He's my youngest son, and he's awesome, and he's gonna help us make some marinara sauce today. So let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is take a yellow onion and we're gonna chop it up. Cut off the top, leave the root, and cut straight down like this. This is just the easiest way to dice an onion. Once you get to here, go ahead and take off that paper layer. You wanna help me with this one?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can even take off that whole last layer of onion if it's giving you trouble.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that layer? Get that and pull that whole thing off.
Oh.
Nice. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have that paper off of our onion, we're gonna wanna dice it up. We want a very small dice on this, right? Because we don't want big chunks of onion in our sauce, do we?
No.
Okay, we're making a classic marinara sauce because we want to put this into spaghetti. We want to put it on top of chicken parmesan with a meatball sub, that sort of thing. So we want a nice smooth texture to our sauce. We don't want it rustic and chunky. So what I'm going to do here is cut it in a very small dice. So you cut down like that, right? You don't go all the way to the root side, you leave a little bit and you just slice down. Then here's the real trick. You wanna make nice small cuts through here. And you can see it sort of looks like strips, but when you push them, they fall apart into very small dices. See that?
Yeah.
So that's a nice fine dice, right? Smaller. You can always chop it up more if you're looking for like a minced onion, but right now we're just doing a fine chop. And you can do this very fast. You can do it slowly if you're not used to it, and take your time with it, right? When you get to the end here, you can roll it on its side and you can chop off these pieces as well. And you can throw away that stem. That way you're using the entire onion, right? And you can see if I crush this up here, we got nice small dice. And I'm gonna do that to the other side as well, okay?
Okay.
We're not going for a really rustic sauce here. Of course, there's gonna be little chunks of vegetables and things like that in there, but we do want a smooth texture, so I'm just gonna give this a little bit more of a chop. People cry from onions. If you notice, I'm not crying right now, neither is Joe. And the reason for that is not because he's wearing glasses, it's not because I'm tall, it's because I have a sharp knife here. When you have a sharp knife, the knife goes right through the onion and it doesn't smash the onion, so you don't get all of those oils and juices up into your eyes. If you do it enough, you will, so just be forewarned. But the sharp knife is probably the best tip for not crying when you're slicing. Also, don't cut off the root end. That's another good tip when dicing onions. And here I'm just chopping it up a bit. Okay, Joey, what do you think of that?
It looks good.
Looks good? Okay, I'm gonna use my scraper here. I'm gonna put these right up to the side. So now we're gonna do what's called a chiffonade to the basil. I'm gonna take about 15 basil leaves, big ones. You know, these are good sized basil leaves. And you want the big ones in the back, smaller ones up front. So get it to where you can roll it. What you wanna do here is take one end and you wanna kind of tightly roll it up as such. And we're gonna do what's called a chiffonade cut, where you're doing very, very thin, small slices. What do you think, Joe? Are we doing it?
Yeah.
And of course, we're putting this in a sauce so we can give it another couple slices like that, because this is gonna be long and stringy. That's what chiffonade is, makes it long and stringy. That's a little bit fat. We can even chop this up a little bit if we want to, but that's basically what we're looking for.
Smells good.
Oh yeah. Now this one, since it's going in the sauce, I don't need it too big. Now that we have our onions and our basil prepped, we already have 3 to 4 tablespoons of garlic that we minced up. We have some dried oregano because I couldn't find any fresh today. Normally I'd use some fresh and chop it up, but we did find the fresh thyme. And who helped me peel that?
Me.
That's right. And we've got about a tablespoon of each of the oregano and the thyme. We're gonna be adding that in too. So let's get our pot out here and start adding the ingredients. Now we're gonna assemble our sauce. This is an extremely easy sauce to do, and anyone can do it at home. You're gonna make a big batch that's so much cheaper than going and buying the jars of sauce. So let's get started. I've got a little basil olive oil today. I just wanted that basil flavor in this sauce. I'm adding about 2 tablespoons or so. And once that starts shimmering, we want to add our onions. Do you want to put the onions in, bub?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All of it?
Yep, dump it right in there. Nice.
That's loud.
Turn it down a little bit. And we want to let these cook for about, we want to lower that down. We don't want that much of a sizzle. We want to let this go for about, what do you think, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, that's a good idea.
10 minutes sounds good.
Yeah, 10 minutes does sound good. So an important thing to note when you're cooking Italian food or any food for that matter, you almost always want to start out with your onions. Anything you're going to be breaking down, green peppers, onions, things like that, you want to start these first. I see a lot of people putting their garlic and onion in at the same time. Garlic is so delicate, it's going to burn, no doubt about it. You could have it on an extremely low setting where your onions aren't going to become translucent and they're not going to break down, or you have it at a higher temperature where your onions will break down, but your garlic's going to get singed. You don't want to do that, so don't add your garlic yet. Right, buddy?
Mm-hmm. No garlic.
You want to stir it around a little bit?
Yeah.
Go for it. Kind of pull them off the wall there. Yep. Nice. Very good. So you can see that we have all of our ingredients already chopped up and prepared. We did the onion because we wanted to show you how to make that small dice, and of course the chiffonade cut on the basil. However, everything else is already prepared. Now the reason that we do that, it's called mise en place in French cooking. It means everything in its place. Everything is ready to go. Everything's already prepared. So it's the best way to cook. If everything's already prepared, you just add the ingredients. You add ingredients to heat. Now what we're gonna do here is get them kind of across the bottom here into a nice even layer. And we're gonna let this go for a little bit, okay?
Okay.
And you need to keep an eye on it. Do you know what you're looking for?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
Here's a good time to add a little bit of kosher salt. Grab a pinch of that. Not that much, watch. I'll show you. You grab a pinch like this, like grab a good pinch and go.
Oh.
Use 3 fingers like that, like a pincer. Yep. And then go ahead and sprinkle it in. Nice.
Sprinkle.
Perfect. Yep, just a little bit of salt there. We'll be adding more salt later. I'm just using a coarse ground kosher salt, and this is a freshly ground black pepper. Do the same thing with that one, please. Oh yeah, Chef Joe.
Mm-hmm. Chef me.
Yep, Chef you. Perfect. That's great. Good job, bud. Now we're just going to mix this around a little bit. Okay, so the question was, do we know what we're looking for, right? Do we know what we're doing at this part? So what we're looking for is, do you know what the word translucent means?
Like you can see through it?
That's right. That's exactly right. So when you cut an onion at first, it's opaque, right? You can't see through it.
Yeah.
And then once you start cooking it, look at it now. It's starting to get a little bit more translucent, right?
Oh,
see
yeah.
how it's sort of lightening up? It's not so white, and it's sort of becoming yellow. We want to get it to where it's totally translucent, and we might caramelize it a little bit. Caramelization is when we cook it down so much that we start to bring out all of the moisture, and it starts to bring out the sugars in it, and it'll start to turn brown. So it'll go from a yellow to like a brown. Now the cool thing about caramelized onions is they go from being sort of bitey and acidic to really sweet, and it'll add a delicious flavor to our sauce.
Delicious.
Nice. All right, so we're gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes. If you're not already prepped with everything else, this is a perfect time to go cut up your herbs, to get your tomatoes ready and all that kind of business. You also want to occasionally stir. We don't want to burn any of this. Make sure you have it on a medium-low setting. You don't want this super high. You want it to where it's just starting to break down the onions. You can put in more onions than this, less, whatever you feel is comfortable for you and how your family likes to eat. The other cool thing about cooking the onions is as they turn translucent and as they caramelize, they become softer and softer. You know how when you first cut it, it's like chunky and hard?
Yeah.
So after you cook it, it becomes nice and soft and sweet.
Nice.
You're nice. All right, so we've had these onions cooking for about 10 minutes. As you can see, they went totally translucent. They're starting to caramelize a little bit, and we're getting a lot of that extruded water out of there. It's smelling so good already. I mean, there's nothing like olive oil with cooked onions. This is that basil olive oil, so it's really giving that out. Now, we want to start to add some more aromatics. We're going to add in some garlic. Let's add this in, buddy.
Yay.
So I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons for now, and we'll see how that goes. The trick to adding garlic in is put it in there, and when it gets to 148 degrees Fahrenheit, it's going to blossom. You're going to smell, and that's why they call it aromatic. You're gonna smell all that delicious garlic smell. As soon as you smell it, you want to start adding all of your other ingredients. Let's start crushing some tomatoes. That's why we're wearing these gloves.
Yay.
All right, buddy, grab a tomato.
Fun.
Let's pull it up here. Yep.
Gonna be mushy.
Yeah, and let's pull this a little bit closer to you. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a tomato and squeeze the living daylights out of it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And then just drop
Right
it
in there. Yep, and then just drop it. As much as you can squeeze it. We wanna try and crush these. Excellent. Go for it. Now these are gonna break down a little bit more. These are peeled tomatoes. These are peeled San Marzano tomatoes. You can see it's just a peeled tomato that is from Italy. They're nice and sweet. They're from the plum tomato family. As we squeeze that, we're leaving the seeds in there and everything. You want to do some more?
That's appealing.
It is quite appealing. Now this part can be really messy. We chose to wear gloves, right? But you don't have to. You can do this with your bare hands. Normally with home cooking, I'll just do it with my bare hands. No problem. But we wanted to, for the sake of doing the video today and showing everyone, we're just wearing gloves just to skip some of the cleanup.
Oh, I think that's it.
That's it for that one. We got another can. Nice. And you can do this ahead of time. We just wanted to show everyone how we're doing it. Ooh, I just put in a whole one.
That squirted everywhere.
Yeah, that one shot everywhere. Whoa. How you doing?
Great.
I'm gonna get some of this sauce out of here. Wow, we were making a mess.
Yeah, more messy than I expected.
Yeah, let's see the squeeze, dude.
No squeeze.
But wait till you taste how delicious this sauce is using these types of tomatoes. Basil, there's a basil leaf right in there.
Wait, already?
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about these, is they add basil into the can, into the bottom of the can for the flavor.
Ah.
Let's take our gloves off here. Nice. Oh,
Oops.
nasty. Okay, so now that we have all of our tomatoes crushed up in there, and we can always put them up against the wall and smash them a little bit more if we see big chunks. We can put it through our Vitamix, we could put it into a food processor. For right now, we're just gonna let this cook. So we're gonna add our thyme. We've got about a tablespoon of thyme in here. Right, you wanna add the oregano?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the oregano. You can go ahead and put that in.
How you did it?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
All of it. Yep, there you go. Perfect. I'll take that for you.
Okay.
And then we're going to add in some of our basil. How much do you think we should add?
Enough?
Yeah,
I don't know.
enough. Exactly. So cooking isn't an exact science. I'm saying a tablespoon. It's not all measured out. It's about a tablespoon each of these. It's whatever you want it to taste like. You can add whatever herbs you want in here, whatever spices you want. If you want to make it spicy, go ahead and add in some red pepper flakes or whatever you want, anything you want in here. I'm just gonna add these nice Italian herbs for now, and we're gonna stir it around. You wanna do some stirring, bud?
Yes.
Okay. And we're using a wooden spoon and a porcelain-coated cast iron pot, just because sauces cook so nice in it. And the wooden spoon, it's just a classic cooking instrument. It's so great for doing these sauces. There you go.
Yeah.
Also, I have this kick-ass Thermalworks spatula. So awesome. It gets things, you can get things off the sides with this.
Whoa.
Yeah, check it out. Whoop.
Magic.
And you don't want the sauce climbing up the sides. That's how little bits burn. And you don't want the bottom of this to burn either. So what we're doing right now, I'm gonna crank my heat up and we're gonna bring this to the boil. Once it's boiling, we're going to put a lid over it and we're going to let it simmer. But I'm not gonna totally cover it. I want that lid off to the side. I want the steam to escape. Every 10 to 20 minutes or so, you wanna come back and make sure that the bottom of this isn't burning, because a little bit of burnt sauce ruins the whole batch. So let's get this incorporated a little bit more. We're gonna get down there and get that bottom, right? I wanna make sure nothing's on the bottom. Is that already looking like a spaghetti sauce or what?
Yeah.
Sure is. And this is gonna be so good on that chicken parmesan we're making later, dude.
Yummy.
Yummy. You wanna do some more stirring?
Yeah.
Go for it. Make sure you get the bottom. You wanna scrape the bottom. Because sauce, these tomatoes, most of this in here has sugar in it, right? The onions, the tomatoes, and sugar burns. And when sugar burns, it turns bitter. So we want to get all of that moving, and we don't want it to burn on the bottom because that'll make our sauce bitter. We want it to be rich and delicious.
Yeah.
While you're stirring, I'm going to add in some more salt. Just a pinch here. We can always season on the back end as well. And here's some black pepper.
Oh, black pepper.
Delicious. And get that all that right in there. Exquisite.
Is that enough?
Great job. Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks, buddy. I'm going to get this off the sides here. We're bringing this up to a boil. See how it's bubbling there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, as soon as it gets there, we want to turn this way down. May I get that lid, please? Right behind you.
Way
We're going to turn that way down. And we're going to put that just like that. See how I left it open a little?
Yeah.
And we're going to let this cook. Let's check it in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Sound good? Okay. All right, so we've brought this down to the lowest setting on our burner, and we're gonna let this simmer. We're gonna just let it simmer for around, yeah, we're gonna come back and check it in 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But we're gonna do about an hour total. That way we know we can come back, we can see if it's still a little watery, if we wanna cook it down more and extrude some of that water or evaporate some of that water out of there and reduce it for that more concentrated flavor, or maybe it'll be perfect. And I'm having a feeling within an hour, it'll be, yeah, pretty close to perfection. Love you, buddy.
Number 2.
Okay. We're gonna let this sit for 30 minutes and we're gonna come back and check it. Okay, so we've had our sauce cooking. Something I forgot to mention earlier is we added a 15 ounce of tomato puree right when we put it on to simmer, and we stirred that up really nicely. One of the things about making any type of tomato sauce is you might have some acidity in your tomatoes. When I added that puree, it added a little bit of acidity. You can kind of taste it in the back of your mouth, you know, like right back here. And if you taste that, there's 2 ways you can combat it. Either add fats or add sugars. So we added a little bit of sugar. I put a little bit of monk fruit sweetener in there. And I'm talking like maybe a teaspoon or so. And just add whatever you need to until you get to where you're going. Let's stir this up. And that's what you're going to start seeing, the separation. We've got some reduction. And we do have some lumps in here, but that's okay. After trying this, I don't think we want to blitz it down. I think I'm just going to leave it rustic. I'm going to leave it with a little bit of chunkiness in here because I just think it's going to be so good. I'm loving the taste of it. Do you want to try a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. And you want to just take a little bit right here.
A little bit right here.
Kind of flatten it out. Do that until it flattens out on the spoon. Yep. And then go. You're good. A little hot. Tastes like spaghetti sauce, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot
Do you
spaghetti
think it
sauce.
needs anything? Yeah, very hot.
No.
No? You think we're good? No, it's not too acidic. It's not too sweet. It's not too anything. I think it's perfect too. I think we hit a home run with this one. This sauce is so easy, and as you can see, it yields a ton. Now, I know people are going to complain and say my grandmother used to cook her sauce down for 8 hours and 10 hours and whatever. You don't need that. 1 hour is honestly all you need. This one went for about an hour and a half because we're also doing another recipe with that chicken parm. So check out that recipe too. This is perfect. This tastes like the exact kind of spaghetti sauce that I like, marinara sauce that I like. And it's got all the flavors that I'm looking for. Thyme, basil, garlic, everything. All those San Marzano tomatoes that Joey helped me crush in there, which you did a great job, bud. Thank you for helping me.
Welcome.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too.
Thanks. All right, I think we are good to go with this. You can freeze it. You can put it in your refrigerator. It's good for a couple of weeks. You can use it right away, which we're about to do. We've got some pasta on the stove right now. We've got some chicken that we're about to make into Parmesan. We've already breaded it and fried it up. So check that video out and definitely try this out. If you like what we're doing here, we're trying to make videos that anyone can cook, anyone can do barbecue, anyone can make this sauce. It's super easy. It seems like we're getting a lot of good feedback and people are starting to use the videos and making the food. So that's pretty exciting for us. So check it out, try it out.
No. You have to
All right, what do you want to say?
like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Nice. And also check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. We're always doing updates of everything we're cooking, not just the barbecue stuff. And definitely give this sauce a try. It's absolutely awesome. We love it. We're hungry. We're about to eat. So check it out. Try it out. Thanks.